Welcome to another car review for your growing family. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe on the bottom right to catch brand new reviews every single week. But here is a new addition for 2020 to the highest selling Volvo family member. It is the XC60 Polestar Engineered. So it's a performance version of the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. Super fun to drive, loaded with performance parts bolted on, but still great gas mileage for 415 horsepower. But I've got 4 issues with this car, which we'll address along the way, not including the fact that it's kind of unnecessary, which is also code word for fun. So what we have here is a plug-in hybrid, all-wheel drive, compact SUV aimed directly at the Audi SQ5, the BMW X3M, and the Mercedes GLC AMG. So what they have is the Volvo T6 engine, which is turbocharged and supercharged, and then they've bolted that to the hybrid system as they have previously for the T8 model. But what they've done this time is given it to their in-house tuning team and given a bit of a boost. So the T6 now puts out 328 horsepower, and then you've got the hybrid system, which is putting out 87 horsepower. So they are saying combined 415 horsepower. That's a lot. But you can't really add that up together. This doesn't feel like it's got 415 horsepower. And just to highlight that, so here's how the kids went in the kids pep test in this.
3, 2, 1, stop!
And then here's how they went in the benchmark that I like to call it, the BMW M340i that they loved, and that had about 367 horsepower. You can see the difference there. But what they have got this year is a better, bigger battery. So this now has 11.6 kilowatt hours for the hybrid system, which is a bit of a boost from last time, and will get you a few more miles of range on this car as well. But you are getting a car that performs amazingly with outstanding fuel economy. So some of those numbers go like this: 8.7 litres per 100 kilometres on the highway and 9.5 in the city. And combined, that equates to about 26 miles per gallon. So not ridiculously amazing fuel economy that you get from other plug-in hybrids. However, they don't have the performance that this does. And you are getting around about 30 kilometers of pure electric range on this car for this year, for 2020, with that bigger battery, or around 19 or 20 miles. So for me, I live in an inner metro area. I can commute to work and groceries and home virtually entirely on electric power. However, it works a little bit different. You can't really go purely on electric because you can see on your indicator here, depending on which drive mode you're in, it'll tell you how fast you can go or how much power you can give it before the engine will actually kick in. So you can go on battery only, but you're going to be going pretty slow. You're not going to be doing too much. It's got an 8-speed automatic transmission, which also has paddle shift, and you've got the E all-wheel drive system. So how it works: engine does front wheels only, and then you've got 2 electric motors in the back, which just does the rear wheels. So you don't actually have a drive shaft going through the center here. So in terms of functioning for families, this is a compact SUV that handles like others only dream of, really. It's got the Öhlins dampers. You've actually got 22 manual clicks in it, from comfort through to the more obviously way stiffer ride. And that's actually the first issue I have with this car, because even when you've got it reasonably in comfort, it is a bumpy ride. This has the forged aluminum rims. You can get 21-inch, or there's the optional 22-inch. And on that low profile rubber, it is bumpy over some potholes and stuff. So on some urban roads, if they're a little bit more rough, you are gonna feel it. That's the first issue I had with this car. Let's have a look at how it functions with cargo space for families in the back here. I thought this car was gonna have more space in it. The trunk has around 500 litres of cargo space, or about 17.8 cubic feet, which does trail behind some of its competitors like the SQ5 and like the X3. It's behind them by a considerable margin. However, it does pass our standardized test: the stroller, 2 bags of groceries, camera bag, soccer ball. It's a bit tight, but it's not too bad. Let's move to the back seat. So once you're in, the back seat isn't too bad. You've actually got around about 38 inches of rear legroom, which is on par with the SQ5. It's got a little bit more, about 1.5 inches more than the X3. So our rear facing kids seat test, standardized test, it works pretty well. The front passenger still has plenty of space. It was really good actually, especially compared to some other compact SUVs that we have tested. That wasn't a part. When you're in, it's all good. An adult in the back, same deal. You can be pretty comfortable. What I didn't love, and this is the second issue with this car, is the size of the rear doors. They were oddly small for the amount of space that you have in the back. So once you're in, you're good, but the door opening was small. Where you step into the footwell, that part was reasonably small as well because of where that wheel arch is positioned. So once you're in, it's fine. Even the door didn't necessarily open up to as big an angle as I would have liked. So once they're in, they're okay, but it is tight getting kids in and out if your kids are still at age where you got to be strapping them in all the time. But interior, your door pockets, your door bins on the front isn't too bad. The ones on the back door, because they are so small, is you got a drink bottle, and that's really about it. And then on this particular version, just the netting on the back of the seats was really tight and was tough to get into, so you're not going to be storing too much in that either. And then other storage in the car, you've got some beverage stuff here. This all closes up, which is, you know, kind of neat. It's not bad. This is tiny. It does have reasonable interior comfort and size and space for the occupants inside. Let's get to one of the real pluses in here, the infotainment system and the interior in general. Volvo, when you look at their current range, it's kind of like you've seen one, you've seen them all. They're very standard in the setup of their interiors, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because they're lovely. The finishes on them is top notch. The seats are super comfortable, very highly adjustable. Obviously, these are a bit different. This has got the gold detailing because that is the color of Polestar Engineered, which I find slightly tacky, but it's okay. But then you've also got the infotainment system that Volvo is using with this one screen, and I actually really like it. I think it's one of the better laid out infotainment systems. The home screen is reasonably basic and not overly appealing, but that doesn't matter, you can get past it. And you've got the, almost like an iPad or a tablet, you've got the home screen button on the bottom so you can get back to your main menu. And then what I love is how easily accessible all the things are on the side. You swipe one way and you've got things like your radio, you can set all that up. And then on the other side, you've got all your driver assistance features. And what I do like about this particular model, the Polestar Engineered, we'll get to the price soon, that's another gripe that I have, that's one of the 4 problems. They've given you everything. In this trim, they've just loaded it, so you don't have to add all these other packages, which is what Volvo does, similar to BMW and to Mercedes. Sure, you buy the car, but then you've got to add on all these packages. In this one, the Polestar Engineered, you get everything. And one thing that I love, we'll get to the pilot assist thing coming up in the road test in just a second. It is top notch, I'll tell you. I really can't wait to show you that. Okay, let's go for a drive. It's in, I'll just turn it on. That's your start button, by the way, which is kind of cool. And it's in battery mode when you're at a standstill, which is good because it allows me to show you issue number 3 I have with this car, which are beautiful big brakes and do a terrific job. However, they are so grippy that when you are at a standstill, but you're in traffic and you just slowly, you're idling forward, but just sort of riding the brake a little bit, these brakes constantly, because they're so big and they just want to grip, they make a lot of noise. Like, hear that? That's issue number 3. I don't really have any issues with the way this drives apart from the bumpy suspension and everything, because it is an absolute dream. It's like, it is so direct. I mean, you can tell your wife, oh, it's just a compact SUV. It's all good. Okay, so let me show you the driving modes. So on your wheel down here, your driving modes, you've got constant all-wheel drive at the top, but then you've also got off-road down the bottom. I would have thought they might have been one and the same, but apparently not. And then you've got pure eco drive, which is going to be the most economical for you. It's basically telling it that you don't want to use much power and you'll just be able to go mostly on battery. So if you have a listen, just running on battery, sounds great. Then under that, you've got hybrid everyday use. That's what I've spent most of my time in. And then you've got the fun mode after individual, where you can set it up however you want. You've got Polestar Engineered. So what that will do will pretty much bring in your engine straight away, and it will bring down the level that you need to put your foot down before the engine kicks in right down. And that's the one that's going to tune up the engine and going to give you the best performance. Okay, let's put it in pure eco drive at the moment. So this is going to be the most battery orientated that you can get. And I'll just go and quicker than the Mitsubishi Outlander, but in that mode, just keeping it under the gas engine kicking in, you know, it's a pretty tame takeoff, but you would be doing that purely to save a lot of money on gas. Okay, let me show you the semi-autonomous driving modes that you can have on this car, because it's spectacular. So most of the time when you have your adaptive cruise control and you're coupling that with your lane keep assist and everything, you kind of need to be on the highway for it to be able to recognize where your reflective markers and stuff on before it can move ahead. But this one, oh, by the way, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto standard. I forgot to mention that to you. But this one is just great. just on a regular suburban road. It's called Pilot Assist, and this will have stop and go. So you can see here on this footage, I was coming up to a red light. I got my hands off the wheel. By the way, it doesn't like that very much. It will tell you to put your hands on the wheel, and then it's got sensors on here so it knows where you're at. And then it even takes these corners through an urban area with none of the reflective stuff on the road. So this semi-autonomous driving setup was absolutely amazing. But what about issue number 4 I have with this one, the Polestar Engineered, is the price. It's expensive. So you can get the XC60 in Canada starting from $46,350, and the cheapest you can get the hybrid, the T8 engine, is in the R-Design trim, which is going to cost you $72,200. This, the Polestar Engineered, fully loaded, as I said, it comes fully loaded. You don't have to get any more packages. $89,100. And in the States, the entry point for the XC60 is $41,000, and then the Polestar Engineered is just over $70,000. Fair chunk of change, but you got a lot of things bolted onto this car. So that's the 2020 Volvo XC60 Polestar Engineered. Bit of a rocket ship, still beautifully appointed, really comfortable, but it's expensive. But hopefully you found this review useful. If you have, give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel because we put out brand new reviews every single week. Until next time, from Family Wheels, I'm Kai.